Good afternoon. It looks like we have some severe weather that's popping up in Acadiana. Thought I'd move in here and take a look at the radar and track what's going on. We have a severe thunderstorm warning up in the central part of Acadiana, north central part of Acadiana, around the Opelousas area. And I would request anybody that has any observations up there, please let us know. Good afternoon. Oh, and this as well, if you don't mind, go to Facebook. Let me put this up on the deal real quickly here. Uh, there you go. If you can, go to steamyard.com/Facebook and just give it permission to use your name from what we have there in Facebook, and it'll show me who's making the comments. So steamyard.com/Facebook, if you don't mind, and I'll put that up again in just a minute. So we do have some severe thunderstorm activity up near the Eunice area, and we're going to be watching that throughout the next several bits here. I don't know exactly how long, but the stuff is not moving fast. It's moving about 10 miles an hour toward the southeast. So we're going to play with that on the radar and take a look at it and see. So I'm starting to see some comments. Hello to everybody that's coming in. We do have some folks that are stacking up in here. That's great. Love to have you. Love to have you in here. Let me see. What did I want to do? Well, first of all, I think what I'll do is go to the radar, and we're going to look at this in a little more detail. Here's the thunderstorm complex that we're concerned about, and it stretches from, was actually about the Oberlin area all the way through the Ville Platte vicinity, and it is moving toward the southeast. We'll put that in motion so you can see. This is the how hard is it raining mode on the radar. Right now, I'm seeing the heaviest showers just to the south of Mamou. I'll change that to the velocities, and you can see as well as I that this allows us to look inside the thunderstorm and see where the winds are and what the winds are doing. Right now, I don't see anything that looks tornadic, but there are some very heavy winds in this. So we're going to watch this thing, and I think it's going to be probably worth watching over the next hour or so. If you are in this area, if you're in the Opelousas, Mamou, Chaitanya, Ville Platte, Washington area, please give us some comments. Let me know what the winds are doing there at this time, if you don't mind, and we'll share those comments with the National Weather Service over in Lake Charles. I think that'll do it. Hello, Steve. Good afternoon, sir. Oh, good. I see you're watching this on YouTube, Steve. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. I didn't know if we were getting out. We're simultaneously broadcasting this on both Facebook and on YouTube. So, Steve, next to your comment, I see a little YouTube logo. So that's a good thing as well. Let me pop in here and say howdy. Good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining in here. And again, we do have some severe thunderstorm activity up in the Eunice, Opelousas, Washington, Ville Platte area. It is moving toward the southeast, and we'll put that in motion again. I'll go back to the how hard is it raining mode or the rainfall mode, and we can watch this together. I think if there's going to be any real problem stuff here, it's right now going to be between Mamou and Chaitanya. And this stuff is moving toward the southeast at about 10 miles an hour. So let's do this. I'll stop the flow there, and we'll take a look. Let's see, this cell, for example, we'll stretch this out. We'll tell it that it's moving at about, let's say, 11 miles an hour. And it'll calculate where it will be at these various times. Chaitanya in about 7 minutes, Lawtell in about 54 minutes, Houston in about 95 minutes, and Prairie Laurent in about 100 minutes. Population affected will be about 40,000, a little over 40,000 folks. And those are the areas that are going to be affected within the next, let's say, hour and a half with this line of thunderstorms. So Karen Crow is in that. Breaux Bridge is in that. Cankton is there as well. So we'll continue to watch that as we progress. It looks like we're getting some really good response on this, by the way. Thanks for joining this this particular channel. Arlene, good afternoon. It's good to see you. Jenny, hello. You're absolutely welcome. I'd be happy to be here. Jenny, where are you located? I see you're saying you're hearing thunder in the distance. Excuse me. I was just wondering where you might be, if you don't mind putting that up there. And again, I'd ask you to go to what is it, streamyard.com/Facebook, and it allows you. Oh, you're in Kang. Oh, sure, of course you are. Hello, from Kangton, of course. And good afternoon to y'all. That stuff about should be in your area within the next hour or so, Jenny. So there you go. Let's see here. I'm going to put this back in motion, and we'll take a look at it. There we go. There is a severe thunderstorm watch I should have mentioned to you as well, and it's in effect until 9 o'clock this evening. It looks like that's a pretty well justified deal. Let me zoom out now and show you what's going on. We have a frontal system that's gone stationary, and of course, you know that a frontal system that's stationary is just the leading area of some slightly cooler air. This is about as far south as it's going to go. So we have an interaction here between the air coming off the Gulf and the very slightly cooler air behind this, and it is interacting. So that's why we're getting some of the heavy thunderstorms that we're getting. Hold on just a second. I've got a little phone call here, and I'm going to take that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. There we go. Let's see. And I'm going to put this up again just in case you haven't seen it. If you want to make comments, so I'll know who's making the comments. Please go to streamyard.com /Facebook, and it'll request that you give permission so that I can see your name in this chat thing. I don't think you have to do that with YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, but if you don't mind, there it is, StreamYard, and we'll see what that looks like. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go back here. We do have severe thunderstorm warning in effect. Let's go back and take a look at that and see how long that's going to be in effect. That's the box right here. So we have issued by National Weather Service Lake Charles severe thunderstorm warning for these parishes: Evangeline, North Central Acadia, St. Landry. 5:15, just a little while ago, about 12 minutes ago. Severe thunderstorm located along the line extending from near Grand Prairie to Durable. What is that? Duraline? I've never heard of that. And moving east at 20 miles an hour. Expect 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and quarter-size hail. This is indicated by the radar, and we'll look at that together in just a second. Possibly some hail damage to vehicles if they're outside and exposed. So the locations that are going to be impacted are right here. And also traffic on 49 between mile markers 15 and 37. So if you're traveling up there, watch that. This is going to be in effect for another 45 minutes or so. So we're looking at this. Let's see. I'll back this out a little bit. Here's Melville. Oops. Like that. I want to go back to the velocities stuff, and we can take a look at some of these velocities in here. They look like they're increasing somewhat, so let's see. here's some wind velocities. Now remember, the radar beam here, since we're looking at Lake Charles, is about 6,000 feet off the surface. That's why it's important that we get folks in that will do weather observations for us, and that's why we put the stuff here in the comment section. Hello, Ed. Big, my man. Well, Ed, thank you. Thank you very much. That's somebody nice. Uh, we have a few more folks that are in here now. So we're going to just monitor the radar. Let's see if we can go to one of the features of the radar. And this is why the Doppler radar is so very good. There's a feature called correlation coefficient, and that allows us to look into the thunderstorms. Here's one of the things that's maybe of interest to you. When you see a strobe like this, that means that the radar signal from Lake Charles is actually going through some ice crystals or hail in this case, and one of the reasons that the National Weather Service is talking about hail in this thunderstorm is right here, because they can see it on the strobe effect of the radar beam going through the hail. So let's look again at the velocities. We'll keep those in mind. The winds are starting to pick up a little bit just south of Oberlin, and it looks like that's there's a 30, 26, 31 mile an hour wind. And we've also got some pretty heavy winds back in here, 40, 45 mile an hour winds. And that's if you're watching in the Reeves area, possibly somewhere along Highway 71. And as I said, right here, just northeast of Kinder, if you're in the Kinder area, we do have some winds in this thunderstorm aloft. Now, these are not necessarily on the surface, but they are aloft. And right here, we do have some winds starting to increase just to the west of Eunice, and also in the Eunice area, some gusty winds, I think. So these thunderstorms are going to produce that, and this is why we have the severe thunderstorm warning and the possibility of hail 1 inch in diameter. Of course, that would do some damage to your windshields or whatever. So if you have a vehicle that's outside, it might be a good idea, if you can, to put it under cover. Let's take a look now again at the reflectivity. And this is the how hard is it raining mode of the radar. I'll put this in motion and just touch for a minute so you can watch it. In fact, we'll watch it together if you'd like. Here's an outflow boundary. Cooler air coming out of that thunderstorm complex. If we get to watch this long enough, you'll see this 99-degree temperature in Lake Charles cooling off as that outflow boundary moves across there. You'll also notice here in just a moment that the 93-degree temperature in Opelousas is going to cool off some more. They're starting to get some rain now. And it looks like there's an extension of this severe thunderstorm warning back into Jeff Davis and Acadia Parish. Let's take a look. There's a severe thunderstorm warning, possible winds to 60 miles an hour as we get this National Weather Service until 5:30. Located over Oberlin, moving southeast at 25. That's the one we're looking at, possible winds of 60. And the locations are Kinder, Oberlin, Iota, Elton, Pine Island, Mowata, and Hathaway, and those smaller towns right in that area. So Acadia Parish, Jeff Davis Parish, and some of Allen Parish, southeastern Allen Parish, in a severe thunderstorm warning until 5:30 this afternoon. Again, that outflow boundary is pretty impressive. It's moving on out, and it looks like we have some folks starting to show up here. That's great. Hope this is helpful to you. Observation from Cancton is they can see dark skies to the northeast, uh, and they need the rain. We actually need the rain. We don't need any damaging winds, but we do need rain. It's thundering in Opelousas. I'm seeing that report. Wind is picking up. There we go. So this is right along the frontal boundary that's gone about as far south as it's going to go. But you can see in, gosh, I don't know what this color is, maybe a pinkish color. Hello, Phil. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. You can see that that's where the outline is of the severe thunderstorm watch until 9 o'clock this evening. I want to go back in and zoom in on some of this stuff. Opelousas is still reporting 93. Let's see here. We're going to concentrate on the area between Chaitanya and Opelousas, Church Point. Church Point, get ready for some rain. If you need it, good luck with this. I think we're gonna have some. Here's some rain. Pretty good rain just went through Lawtell, and we have a very heavy thunderstorm, severe thunderstorm that is now moving into the Eunice area. Again, this I think is going to be the second pass, really, of that heavy thunderstorm that was moving through the area there. So you're going to get some rain. Actually, we can try to take a look at the precip amounts. Let's see what we got here. 1 hour precip totals. Now this, you take this with a grain of salt, okay? Because this is not a definite thing, but it looks like right here, just south of Mamu. Remember we were talking about it where that was the heaviest. It looks like they've had 1 3/4 inch almost of rain so far, and the same thing up by Riedel. 1.5 inches of rain. Let's see. This ought to be a pretty good little amount of rain right here, just south of Lawtell. About 1.5 inches. So folks are starting to get some rain, much needed rain in Acadiana, and I guess that's a good thing. I want to thank you for your interest in this page or this information. Again, I would ask you to go to streamyard.com/Facebook if you're watching this on Facebook, and give the software permission to use your name when you do the comments, so I can see who the comments are coming from. That makes it nice. And here's where we're talking about it. SteamYard.com/Facebook. And there's no danger in that, by the way. If you're worried about any intrusion on your stuff, this is pretty much used throughout the industry a lot, and it's not a big issue. So we're still basically testing the live streaming stuff. I think it's going to work out beautifully when we have severe weather like this. Hopefully the audio, you can hear my voice okay. If you don't mind, give me some comments about that. And let me go back to the radar here. We're going to go back to the rain mode on the radar and see where this stuff is. See where this stuff is going. And incidentally, if you're interested, this is a radar program called Radar Omega. I'm not associated with these people in any way, but I found it to be pretty good radar system, and it's national. You can use composites of regions, or you can use individual radars. Right now, we're tapped in individually to the Lake Charles National Weather Service radar, and that serves this area very nicely. Oh, it looks like we're getting a little bit more of a development right in here. I think around Livonia and Fort Osh, there could be some pretty gusty winds right in this. Let's take a look. And it doesn't show it on radar. Just north of Port Barry, I think we're going to See some gusty winds there as well. New roads. Talked to some folks, some friends over in the St. Francisville area about 45 minutes ago, and that thunderstorm was just moving in, and it was severe. They did get some pretty gusty winds with that. And back to the rain mode. So this line of thunderstorms, as you can see, and I'll back out, is sort of describing the layout of the stationary frontal system. Just a quick look here around. We're having some more bad weather over in the Mobile area, Mobile Bay. They have some marine warnings out. And from Apalachicola, Florida, through that bend in the Florida Panhandle. But we're going to concentrate on ourselves here for just a bit. And I'll roll back in here. Let's see what we have behind this. Here's a very heavy thunderstorm, and it does require a warning. So National Weather Service has put out a warning for this thunderstorm as well, just north of Leesville, northeast of Leesville, around Manny. And that is also going to be moving. Here's another one around Natchez, just across the river in Louisiana. And of course, the ones that we're concerned with are right here. Okay, thank you, Jenny, for the report on the voice. Bryn, hi, good afternoon to you. Thanks for the page. Thanks for watching the page. I think it's gonna be, from what I can tell, it's gonna be well received. Gosh, we've had over 400 people that have tapped into this thing for the short time that it's been up. I think that's exceptional. So that's good. Okay, the radar is doing what we need. Showing us where the heaviest stuff is. So Sunset, if you're watching this, in Sunset, Church Point, Leonville, Port Barry, get ready. This is going to be some heavy weather as it moves through the area. Wind gust possibly as high as 50 to 60, and could do some limb damage. Let's see what we have here. It's hard not to appreciate what the technology does for us now, allowing us to look at the raindrop velocities inside these thunderstorms. And look at this, for example. Here's some velocities. The green, as you know, indicates that the raindrops are headed back toward the antenna. And the red indicates that the droplets are headed away from the antenna. So whenever you have what we call a couplet, where you have a very tight co-location of red and green, that generally indicates that you have a tornadic type swirl. I don't see any of those right now on here. And it looks like conditions are going to be favorable for severe thunderstorms. But yeah, we could have a tornado, but it would probably be a week when it probably would be rain wrapped. And our tornadoes down here are not generally the big ugly ones, although they can be. I was talking with some friends the other day about the tornado we had in Crowley in 1974. And that was like an EF3 or 4. Did a lot of damage over there. So here's what we're looking at right now. Let me put this in motion. Okay. So you notice this rain is headed toward the antenna. And this rain here, the red, is headed away from the antenna. Here's the antenna at Lake Charles. That's where the radar is located. It's at the airport, right next to the National Weather Service office. want to make you dizzy with all this, but we do need to move it around just a little bit. So Karen Crew, Opelousas is starting to get some rain right now. That's a reporting station. You know what? As we progress deeper into this through the next several weeks or months, I'll give you some information on where you can get some observer training if you want that. Certainly not required, but I'd like to get as many folks to think about at least the Skywarn training stuff put out by the National Weather Service. And it shows you the difference of probably stuff you already know, but it's a good refresh if you do. The difference between what a rain shaft looks like versus what a funnel cloud looks like, what you can look for in thunderstorms and things of that nature. So it's pretty good stuff. We'll talk more about that as we go through the next weeks or months. So here's that line of thunderstorms stretching all the way. How far? That looks like it's stretching all the way from Macomb, Mississippi, and Picayune, Mississippi, all the way across Louisiana to the southern end of Toledo Bend. And it's so slowly sinking toward the south. So that's why we have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 9 o'clock this evening. And that's why we have these thunderstorms are being warned right now that they are severe and they could produce some hail, maybe an inch in diameter, and wind gusts to 60. Here's some heavy rain that's happening right now near the Fourdoche area. Let's see if we can get in there and do some measurements. Yeah, there's some 29, 30 mile an hour winds, 31 mile an hour winds near Fourdoche. And this is a little bit of a swirl. See where we have the green in here. Now this is not very significant because of the wind velocities, but this is a little kink in the rope here, just north of Livonia. And you could see some straight line gusty winds with this that could produce some property damage. Right now, this is not a severe thunderstorm being warned, but it is responsible for this. Let's see if I can pull it up for you. A special weather statement. So that's what they're warning here. And let's see if the National Weather Service agrees with what we're seeing. Winds in excess of 40 miles an hour, gusty winds, could knock down tree limbs. So there you go. It's pretty much in agreement with what we were talking about. Torrential rainfall with that particular storm, and the severe thunderstorm watch remains in effect. So the radar is doing a good job for us this afternoon, even though it's a good distance away. It's Lake Charles radar we're looking at now. We could switch over, but I want to stay on radar from Lake Charles because this is our primary area of concern right now, and we're going to continue to focus on that. Good afternoon to you, and welcome if you are just joining us. Hey, Susan, good afternoon. Hey, I'm glad you like this. It looks like it's being well received, Susan. Hey, by the way, congratulations on your blooms there. I saw some of your stuff on your Facebook page. That is so cool. That plant is amazing. Let's see here. Again, as we're all still getting used to this, let me ask you, if you don't mind, to please consider going over to this link and going to StreamYard.com. You only have to do this once. You don't have to do it each time, so you'll have that permission in your computer. StreamYard.com/Facebook, and I'm requesting that you give us permission or give Facebook permission to show me your name and photo when you put a comment up here. And of course, you don't have to comment, but if you do, I'll know who's making the comments, and that's always nice. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. Hey, what do you think? I made some little some little pretties to show us what we're looking at here. I'm going to slide this down a little bit, maybe make it a little easier to see, and maybe get in just a little bit more. It looks like the majority of folks that we have in here now, and we have, oh gosh, anywhere from 8 to 11 folks, and I suspect as word gets out, this is going to increase throughout the next several weeks and months. But it looks like the majority of folks that we have are right in this area, so that's where we're going to concentrate this afternoon, unless something of interest pops up somewhere else. And also, I noticed that most of the folks here are in on Facebook. We do have this simultaneously being simulcast. I think on my channel over on YouTube. So we'll see. But this is live. It's 16:51, 4:51 right now, and watch this as it progresses. Unit's getting a pretty good dousing of rain right now. Acadiana, Church Point, you're about to get it. If you're in Church Point, look up to the north, and you'll see some dark skies. Hickenbottom, peach bloom. Now, I'd never heard of peach bloom before, but I'm learning all kind of little town names around here that I never knew existed. I love it when people ask me where I'm from. I tell them I'm from West Grand Coteau. There's my hometown. And they say, but where exactly in Grand Coteau are you from? So that's easy. It's pump number 4 at the Valero station. That's where my house was. So if you ever visit in Grand Coteau and you see pump number 4, you'll know exactly where I'm from. Okay, this stuff is moving on. I suspect, let's see, that they may bring this severe thunderstorm warning down a little bit more. I would like to get some observations, if we could, from you. If you are in an area that has any kind of threatening weather, if you see any hail or anything like that. Jenny, when that stuff moves into the Kingston area, if you don't mind, let me know how your winds are and what the rainfall amount looks like and stuff like that, if you don't mind. One of the things that I'm going to eventually incorporate into this is something we call Skywarn. It's a radio network of ham radio operators, and we collect and do basically the same thing on ham radio that we do here, and I think this is going to enhance that an awful lot. So we've been on the air now for almost 35 minutes, and we'll see. I'm curious to see if National Weather Service will extend this out just a little bit. So we still have this line of thunderstorms moving into Acadiana. Some of it severe. Right in here, for example, this stuff looks like it is still severe and still capable of producing some very gusty winds. Oh yeah, uh, Bruno Ardwin was saying that I lived about a block from the. Yep, sure did. Absolutely. Memories from Grand Coteau. Boy, oh boy. So let's see how we're doing here. I'm wondering. This severe thunderstorm warning. Trying to see when this expires. Let's see. These are all the areas that have severe thunderstorm warnings. So let's see. This expires in 33 minutes. So yeah, they're going to probably keep that up. And this one expires in 18 minutes. So yeah, that'll stay up as well. Rain just moving into the Sunset Church Point area. Again, it's probably going to be just a little north of Cankton. Here's Highway. I was looking for Highway 93. There's the Cove. There's Cankton. Okay. So here's Highway 93 as it goes through Cankton. Scenic State Route 93. Okay. Some heavier rain. Notice the difference in color here developing around the Krotz Springs area. We can look at the. This is a very strong return. This is a radar signature that's consistent with very heavy rains and gusty winds. I do believe. Yeah, we got some 30, 40 mile an hour winds in this. I don't see anything dangerous in this batch of weather right now. Let's see here. What we have. There we go. So this line continues to move southward at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. And of course, we never like severe weather in the area, but boy, I'll tell you, it's been dry and we can certainly use the rain. I think this is going to help out a lot. We had Hurricane Lily back when, and there had been an extended drought before Lily, and I think that's what led to so much tree damage. I think these trees were just sitting there waiting for something to blow them over, and I think that's what happened with this. So this helps to keep the trees going pretty well as well. I was looking today too at some of the wind weather stations that are on the market. There's one called Tempest, and Davis makes quite a few of them, and there are a number of them. Some of them are real good. I'm hoping as we progress, more and more folks will probably have a way of getting these weather stations and maybe helping us with the management of the data. And by that I mean how quantify the winds, quantify the rain, stuff like that. That'll be great information to have, I think. Hey, Chris. Good afternoon. Welcome from the Cove. It's getting dark there in the Cove. Yeah, I bet it is, and here's why. Here's the Cove. Let's see how it is. Chris, it should be getting pretty darn dark to the north of you. I think that's where you're going to see the darkness. By the way, I don't see anything really dangerous in this, but there could be some strong wind gusts and maybe a little hail. A lot of times the radar, as I said, when it gets to the Lafayette area from Lake Charles, the radar beam is actually 6,000 feet over a mile above the surface. So if it's seeing hail, that hail is generally upstairs a little bit, over 6,000 feet. And sometimes it melts before it gets to the ground. But if the thunderstorm is strong enough, it'll just hurl that hail down toward the surface, and it won't have a chance to melt. So that's where you get the hail. And of course, the stronger the thunderstorm, the more hail, and the faster the hail travels downward, and there you have a potential for some damage with that. So there's Roberts Cove. So that thunderstorm is moving southeast at 24. That would put it in the Cove at 5:44, so another 44 minutes. Or 43 minutes. 41 minutes, sorry. Since the time now is 17:03 or 5:03. Let's see. And the severe thunderstorm watch, as you can see, expires at 9 o'clock tonight, or 237 minutes from now. There we go. Well, everybody that's here, welcome to Acadiana SkyTrack. It looks like we're getting this thing moving on, so that's a good thing. Fortunately, these thunderstorms are not really ripping and roaring, so we have an opportunity to get accustomed to the software and the way I use the radar and the way hopefully you want to see the radar used. I'd ask you again, if you don't mind, to please go to the site here. Let's see if I can show it. Go to steamyard.com/Facebook and give it permission to use your name and picture from Facebook so that I can see who's making the comments. And very good possibility I'll know where you are. Or you can tell me where you are, and that'll be great. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to shut that crawl off. No, Phil, I think you're right. Oh, maybe a little water, Ben, if you don't mind. Thank you. Yeah, Phil, let's take a look. Phil was saying this is it looks like it's losing a little intensity. Oh, am I missing something? No, I don't think you are. I think the atmosphere is probably stabilizing a little bit as this stuff comes in. And let's take a look. We'll go back here. I'll stop the deal. And we'll go to the velocities. Yeah, I'm not seeing, when I hear some pretty good wind in this system. Let's see how much wind. Yeah, there's 40 miles an hour worth of wind. And that is in the Krotz Springs area, southeast of Port Barre. Let's see, right in here, I'm not seeing too much. Now, we do have a severe thunderstorm that's being warned right in this area. Let's see if I can get that. Severe thunderstorm warning expires in 54 minutes. And here's what the National Weather Service is saying about that for East Central St. Landry Parish until 6 o'clock. So that's another hour, basically. And that's what we're looking at. The thunderstorm over Krotz Springs, wind 60 miles an hour. Again, let me tell you that it's real important for our friends over at the National Weather Service, and they do a wonderful job with this stuff, but it's very important for them to be able to get data underneath these thunderstorms because they can't see anything below 6,000 feet here. So that's where you come in. That's where the observations come in. So, Phil, it does look like these thunderstorms may be calming down just a little bit. Let's see if we can look at some tops. See how tall these things are. Storm total precip. Let's see. Now, already it looks like we have had some pretty impressive rainfall amounts. And again, take this with a grain of salt because this is Doppler estimates. But it looks like right at 3 inches of rain just between Mamu and Chaitanya. Almost 2 inches of rain just north of the Eunice area, I think. And let's see, in the Lawtell area, almost 2 inches of rain. So we've had some rain. Opelousas is about 1/16 of an inch, quarter inch, something like that. And let's see here. Back to about 2 inches in the, is that Duran? Or Durade? I'm not sure. Northwest of Eunice. Okay, this is good. We still have the severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. And with that, you can expect some gusty winds. Well, Jenny, you ought to be about ready to get some showers there, I think. If you don't mind, let me know when the rain starts there if you're still here with us. I'm looking at Cankton, and Cankton is right here. Yeah, just about to get some light showers. Like most of that stuff may miss you to the northeast. Well, hello. I think I hit the wrong button. Let's look back at the radar. I think that'll be this. This will be better. There we go. Oh, Karen Lagrange, thank you if you're here for the nice article in your newspaper, online newspaper, buy local. Uh, put a link, Karen put a link for us on our SkyTrack page. So if you get a chance, take a look at it. She does some really nice work with that. So I think once we get this stuff moving in a little bit closer, I see we're getting a few more folks in that are looking at the radar. Here's the leading edge of that line of thunderstorms. Um, looks like the severe thunderstorm warning now is in effect for Iota, for Elton, and just southwest of Eunice. Again, this stuff is moving toward the southeast at about 25 miles an hour. Let's take a look. 16 miles an hour east southeast. And these would be the places. We should be in the Church Point area about 5:43 this afternoon. And these are 10 minutes apart. So that's where you'd see those things. Of course, with the Doppler, we can look inside, and that's what we're doing with these velocities. We're looking inside the thunderstorm to see if there's anything going on. Chris says from Roberts Cove, she says nothing but winds here, not raining yet. That's in the Cove. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that observation. If you could estimate the winds, that'd be nice. I'm thinking probably 15 to 20, maybe something like that, probably. Yeah, there's that little shower just moving into you, Chris, right now. Your rain will pick up shortly. Here's Richard. I'm curious to see if the temperature hadn't come down at all yet in Lake Charles. Let's see what it's showing in Opelousas. Oh my, yeah, look at this. Remember, the temperature in Opelousas was in the 90s, and now it's rain cooled down to 77 degrees. So that's a huge change. It looks like this stuff is punching up a little bit right in here to the southwest, but it's decreasing, as Phil had seen, right in here. We have some more that are developing out ahead of that. So, also some heavy stuff over near Krotz Springs. Baton Rouge, I think, is going to be getting some very heavy rain here. Well, not that bad. It looks like that stuff has come down a little bit as well. Amazing what tools we have now with the National Weather Service. When I started at Channel 3, we had an old aviation radar that we had sort of kludged together, and we used it on the air, but nothing like this. And I told him at the TV station, said, if you had just given me an office with a window, God knows what I could have done. And Jenny says, I think there's some kind of arid vortex because storm seems to always break up as it approaches and goes around us. Well, it's just voodoo. I do believe. The arid vortex of Kennington. I think there's a novel in that, Jenny, somewhere. So these warnings have dropped off. The only warnings that we have now are in the Krotz Springs area and Iota area. These thunderstorms have come down in intensity, and they're rebuilding right here. Now, these could possibly get strong again, so we'll watch those for a bit. I'm going to take a sip of water. I'm getting dried out here. Lafayette's still reporting 95 degrees. And what else? So we're reporting a northwesterly wind, cloud base at 2,800 feet and fragmented. Dew point's a little below standard, which doesn't mean anything as far as it's the afternoon heating, I'm sure, that's causing that lightness in the air. So here's Opelousas' report. 4,500 feet above ground level, the cloud base there, winds there from the northwest as well. And you'd expect that as that frontal system, those prefrontal system thunderstorms move into the area. Yeah, boy, there we go. Good old afternoon thunderstorms. Another outflow boundary, that's the cold air that the radar's picking up coming out of those thunderstorms. And the wind, by the way, beneath that outflow boundary, the winds on the surface would be exactly the same as the forward speed of that thing. So if this outflow boundary is moving at 30 miles an hour, the winds underneath it on the surface would be 30 miles an hour. Getting some sprinkles in the tank, huh? Again, I got to tell you my vision for this link or this page of what we're doing here is I think it's going to end up being a huge plus for friends over at the National Weather Service to have good observations from this portion of the state. They have a warning responsibility here, and this will help them, I think, a lot getting the data that you provide. So let's see, do we still have a severe thunderstorm warning? We do. Covering the Quincy and that area. The others have expired. Here's one still for Krotz Springs. Crowley's getting some rain now. The Cove, let's see, how's the Cove looking? Chris, you are right on the edge of that rain at the Cove, but I don't see anything seriously wrong in there. This thunderstorm is increasing in intensity, however. So keep an eye on it for us if you don't mind, ma'am. Okay, thank you. Thank you, by the way, for the reactions to this thing. That it's nice to know that this is being well received. Yeah, I'm not surprised you're getting some lightning in there, Chris. Chris is over in Roberts Cove. So let's see, we've been on the air 1 hour and 1 minute, and those thunderstorms have moved about 25 miles. So they're actually moving at about 25, 26 miles per hour. Church Point now in the on the fringes of the rain. Crowley, you're about to get some more rain. Okay, Chris, your rain ought to be increasing just a little bit, and maybe your winds. Ah, Jenny, you're getting the rain, aren't you? That's great. Let's look at Kington and see. Scott, Vatican. Oh, yeah. Well, that's why. See the rain over you? That one's not going to last too long. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a warning for this thunderstorm coming up from National Weather Service. Let's see what it looks like inside. I'm going to go over to the velocities up, and there it is. I guess we were thinking the same things here. Severe thunderstorm warning expires in 53 minutes. Let's see what it says. National Weather Service, Lake Charles, severe thunderstorm warning for Acadia, northeastern Vermilion. So if you're in Vermilion, here comes some gusty winds. Severe thunderstorm located near Crowley, moving southeast at 20. 60 mile an hour wind gust possible, and some quarter-sized hail. Possible damage to vehicles. And here are the towns that are going to be,
Not all the wind goes out, but most of them.
So it looks like we were just a little ahead of this warning, but that's good. We're thinking the same things, I can tell, from our friends over at National Weather Service. I bet you can see your grass growing, huh, Chris? Well, good. And we're getting some rain in Kington. We're getting some rain in Roberts Cove. That's great. And I have not seen any property damage reports, so that's a good thing, too. Let's look again. Again, I don't see any dangerous winds in this thing, but I'm just looking around, seeing what the particles are doing. There we go. So we do have that heavy thunderstorm moving into Crowley. If you are in Esterwood, Morse, Gaydon, Kaplan, Mermentau, look for some darkening skies, some gusty winds, and some hail, possibly as big as quarters, as this thing moves through. Severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for a lot of Acadia and some of Jeff Davis. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. That gust front, by the way, is about to reach Lake Charles. I've been watching it. Give it about 15, 20 minutes and watch what happens. The temperature will come down in Lake Charles after that goes through, because that air is cooler coming out of the middle and tops of those thunderstorms. Let me zoom back a little bit or pull back a little bit. Special weather statement over here from Fort Ocean, Livonia, Trout Springs. It does look like this has calmed down a little bit in the central part of Acadiana. I don't know if we have anybody in the Crowley, Morris, Gaydon, Kaplan area. If we do, please give me a comment. And, oh, thanks. It's good to see me. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. If you don't mind, go to Facebook and do this for us. I'm sorry, go to StreamYard.com, just in your browser, /Facebook. And give us permission to see your name when you make a comment. I think that'd be the thing to do. And you only have to do it once. Next time you come in, you'll already be done. Yes, sirree. Let me experiment with something here. I'm going to come to this severe thunderstorm warning. Let me see if we can do this. And I don't know if we can. What I'm going to try to do is put the essence of that deal here. Okay. Here's the scroll at the bottom. Oh, that looks nice. Hey, look at there. We're getting better with this thing. And what have they issued? Issued A. Oops. Hang on a second. We might be limited. Hang on a second. Oh, you know what? I'm limited to 200 characters. So let's do this. Yeah, that's not going to work. Unfortunately. Well, let's see. Okay, that's where the heaviest thunderstorm is now in the Crowley area. it looks like this stuff has started to deteriorate here just a bit. So I'm not concerned about the weather here. Here we could see some gusty winds in the Crowley, Esterwood, Mermentau, Morse area. I'm going to see what this does in the next couple of minutes, and we might go ahead and suspend operations. I don't think we have anybody watching over in the further west than Chris over in the Cove. And Chris, it looks like your stuff is about done. Here's Roberts Cove. Yeah, that stuff is going to start slacking off now for you. So do we have anybody in Northern Acadia Parish other than Roberts Cove? I wonder. Drop me a hello here if you don't mind. Hey, Courtney, watching from YouTube. Hey, babe. Okay. Let's see. Courtney's up in St. Landry Parish. Cork, it looks like you have gone through that line and dissipated as it went through you. I don't know if you got any rain at all. It doesn't look like you got much, if any. And Chris says it stopped running. Okay. Good deal. Well, you know what? I think since Chris was the last one I was just going to watch this for, we're going to go ahead and shut down operations. If we get more severe weather, and hopefully we won't have too much more severe weather anytime soon, but if we do, we'll certainly try to keep you posted. I can't promise that I'll be here every time, but the majority of the time I will. And of course, I enjoy doing this for myself. So I'll be happy to do it with you and on behalf of this new deal. If you think this is beneficial, please share the information with your buds, and we'll get people. I'm hoping honestly that we get upwards of 1,000 people in Acadiana that will like this page, and just because I think it's always nice to see people responding responding to what you do in something like this. So God bless you, thank you, and I'm gonna go eat supper. I think. Thank you very much. If this stuff gets bad, by the way, I'll come back on, and you'll get probably a notification. But until then, see you later. Bye bye.